This is the plaintiff, Tanya Lopez. She says she was about to move into an apartment the defendant was renting, and at the last minute, she canceled their agreement. Now she refuses to return her money. There's no way she's going to allow the defendant to get away with that, and is suing her here and now for the $1,950 she feels she's owed. This is the defendant, Diolinda Canuta. She says the plaintiff had unpaid electric bills in her name, and she couldn't get the power company to turn the lights on in her name. She then tried to put the electricity in her ex-husband's name, which is fraud. She gave back half the woman's money and is now being sued for almost $2,000. Police. She's accused of being tough on a tenant.
All parties, please use your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff was moving into an apartment but canceled before moving in. And now the defendant won't return the deposit. But the defendant says the plaintiff is a fraud. It's the case of you played hocus pocus with my security.
Tanya Lopez, you are suing Diolinda Canuto. I've never heard that name.
Portuguese.
Portuguese?
Yes.
Diolinda. It's beautiful. For $1,950, the return of your security deposit of $975 plus an additional $975 for aggravation. What happened?
I applied for an apartment that she had for rent and gave her a little bit of money by little. And I guess the date that I signed the lease, I went to try to put the lights on in my name, and I had an old bill which I could not pay.
Okay, back it up. So you were going to move in when?
September 1st.
September 1st. And do you have a lease?
I had the lease, yep.
Okay, and does, I think I have a copy of it here, and is the lease from September 1st?
It's supposed to start September 1st, yes.
September 1st. And then you tried to get the electricity in your name when?
The 24th.
Why so early? Just to be prepared? Or were you going to start
I was
moving
going
things
to
in?
turn it on for the 1st, so I went the
Right.
24th to try to get it on.
And
for
what
the 1st.
happened when you got there?
They said that I had an old bill, a previous
For how
bill.
much?
$4,800.
You didn't know that?
It was from my last marriage, and I didn't need the lights at that time because I was in another town. I moved away from Norwich.
So apparently the bill in your ex's place was still under your name and he didn't pay it? Is that what what are you saying?
No, it was an old bill, so when we split...
Right, I know. Who it was an old bill
was
that
in
was
my name.
overdue.
Yes.
Somebody didn't pay it. Who?
Yes.
Right.
I'm liable for it. It was in my name, so...
Oh, I know that. I'm just trying to see if you're morally not. I was just curious what had
I
happened.
haven't had the funds. I'm a single mother of 4 to pay that at the moment.
Yeah. It was from how long ago, the bill?
About 3 or 4 years ago.
So what were you doing for electricity in the meantime?
My last apartment was everything included.
Included. All right. So now, so you find that out, and what happens?
She told me then she's not... I asked her if she could include the electricity and or whatever, and I'll pay
And then you
extra.
would just pay her?
Yeah.
Right?
And she said no.
Okay. So then what did you do?
So then I asked my kid's father offered to put it in his name, and so I can pay off my old bill, and she denied that.
Or so that you don't have to pay off your own bill, either way. But so you were just going to have your utility that you're responsible for in your kid's father's name?
Yeah.
All right. And then you told her that, and what did she say?
She said, no, that's fraud.
Why is that fraud?
Because she said the ex-husband, but the ex-husband wasn't going to live in the house.
So what?
Oh, because when you go to Norwich Public Utilities, they want a name that's in a lease to open electricity, not somebody else.
Says who?
That's what they do.
Prove that.
Huh?
Prove that.
In the phone, that's what they told me, because when somebody moves in...
Do you have any proof of what you're saying?
Not for the Norwich Public Utilities, but in the past...
I just don't understand why, if she's responsible for the utility, what difference does it make to you whose name it's under, so long as it's paid? I don't understand why she couldn't move in and just have it under his name.
Because the Norwich Public Utilities in the past, they told me the person that's in the lease, that's the person to open electricity.
I don't understand. What exactly did she ask you? Tell me what she asked you.
Well, she asked me at first if I could open electricity in my name.
Right, you said no to that.
I couldn't because
That's
I
fine,
didn't
you don't have to
include
explain that. And then what?
And then she asked me if I could open in her ex-husband's name.
Well,
I
you can't
said-
open it in someone else's name. You mean, can she open it in her ex-husband's name?
Yes, she.
Right.
But I said.
So she didn't ask you to commit fraud and pretend the ex-husband was on the lease or anything else. All she asked was, okay, I'm going to put it in my ex-husband's name. Why would that be a problem? I don't understand why you think it's a problem.
But what happened is.
I mean, let me tell you what I would think, because I've been a tenant and I am a landlord. If someone came up to me and said, I'll have this unpaid bill for $4,000, and then I'd worry I just don't want her moving in, because I'm going to have to evict her. Is that what was happening?
Well, some part of it that also.
Yeah, I know.
And but the Georgia Public Utilities
That
in
would
the
be
past,
fine. See, you
yeah.
you keep talking to me about, what the utility requires. Do you have any proof of that?
No.
Correct, because I don't think the utility company requires that, okay? What they want is to turn on the electricity and be paid for the electricity. And it has nothing to do with you. Nobody was asking you to commit fraud, or it's not fraud. What if my father's paying my electricity? What if I got to pay my kids' electricity? Well, what if, it just doesn't make any sense. Which would be fine. If what happened was she scared you, then that's fine if you would have returned all the money to her. But what happens is she returns part of the money to you. She wanted to keep the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And the whole thing was how much? $1,950?
Yes.
All right. And then after you call the police, somehow the police persuade her to give you $975.
Yes.
So what's at play here in my lawsuit is $975 that you kept. On what grounds?
So this is kind of interesting. Can somebody other than the named tenant on a lease have the utilities turned on?
If they stay there, they can. But if they,
Well, can they really? I mean, if I'm just like staying with you and you're the guy on the lease, would the utility turn the utilities on if I just, called him or sent him something?
you can turn the bill on. But if you pay it, you can. That's cool with me.
No, I get it, but could I do it? Do I have the power to do it?
I believe you do not have the power to do that. I think you legally have to be on the lease to get the power turned on.
Seem to be going inside the courtroom.
The problem came up because you were under some misimpression that she was committing fraud. See, it's fine for me if what happened is she scared you because she had a $4,000 bill. It may be the best decision you've ever made in your life to tell her elsewhere. But that costs you, not her, because you're the one who's making the decision. Because you have zero proof that there's some requirement that only someone on the lease can open it. Let her fail then. She's going to go open the thing and then she can't because he's not on the lease. That's really not your business. You don't have a legitimate reason for having pulled the plug out from under this tenancy. Did you want to say, what's your relationship?
That's my mother.
Go ahead, talk.
I just want to say one thing. If she could have opened electricity, then she would have done it. She could just go to the electricity company, open it up.
Yes, of course. If your mother hadn't told her, I'm not going to rent to you. Exactly. She could have gone to the electricity company and opened it up.
She couldn't. That's what I'm trying to say. She didn't.
No, sweetheart. She didn't bail. Your mother bailed. There's no testimony otherwise, not even from your mother. Your mother pulled the rug out. Your mother said, you can't move in here because that's fraud. So no, that would be fine. Either she could or couldn't get electricity. It's not your problem. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You need to return the other $975 and this cute little lawsuit for $975 for aggravation. Who's going to pay me? Is anybody going to pay me when I get aggravated? Aggravation is not a cause of action, okay? What you do get is your $975 plus your court costs, of course, what you had to pay in order to get those $975 back. Okay, $975, verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff is going to get the $975 back that she deserves. What you did was wrong. You know that? That's what the judge said. What do you think?
At this time, nothing.
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
You're not embarrassed
For what?
for holding the money back from her?
No.
No? Okay. Well, you
Thank
learned a
you.
lesson.
Thank you.
You did a bad thing. Tell your mom, okay? Here comes Ms. Lopez. Ms. Lopez? Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Feel better now?
Yes.
And where are you living now? You okay now?
Yes.
Find a place?
Found a better place.
You got
for my
electricity?
kids. I got electricity.
How?
My brother.
Your brother. Okay. All right.
It doesn't matter.
As long as you have electricity,
Yes.
that's what counts. All right. Well, thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, look, I mean, there's simply no proof of fraud here. There's no proof at all of fraud. And because of that, there is just no basis to pull the plug on this lease. I mean, I just don't see any scenario where that happens.